What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I had an epiphany the other day and realized I haven't talked about the Infinity Castle in a while, even though there's been some stuff going on the internet about it. So I want to talk about that today and kind of break down some timelines and stuff so that we can go over what our expectations should be over the next few months regarding the Infinity Castle arc and what's going on. So we're going to get into it. This is going to be a pretty deep dive into timelines and all that fun stuff. So hope you're ready for some education, because I did quite a lot of research and spent quite a lot of time to make this video. So before we dive into the video, don't forget to like this video and also comment your thoughts. Likes and comments really help the algorithm, and I really want to start reaching more people. So like this video, comment your thoughts, and also subscribe to my channel for interactions and all that fun stuff. But let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know, Demon Slayer is going to be on a stage at the Jump Festa event. That's right before Christmas. I think it's on the 21st and the 22nd. And this year they will be on the Super Blue stage. Now the past few years they've been on the green and yellow stage, which doesn't have a live stream. The blue and the red stages are kind of the bigger stages where there's a live stream, and they're kind of known for being the stages where the animes that are taking part will make announcements regarding the next seasons and that sort of thing. So a lot of people have taken that and just said there will be an announcement made, be expecting it, and that's it. And I want to just kind of talk about why it's okay to think that there might be an announcement here. They absolutely could change things up, but they have never made announcements for the anime, big announcements outside of Kimetsu TV, ever. And I went back and I looked as far as I could look. I searched different kinds of ways because it's kind of hard to find when they had Kimetsu TV. And as far as I can tell, they've only made big announcements during Kimetsu TV. That's how they've always done it, even with Mugen Train. So yes, could they change it up for the Infinity Castle arc being a movie trilogy and them wanting to reach more people? They absolutely could. I think it's okay to go into Jump Festa with the expectation, not even the expectation, but the hope that they could make an announcement regarding the movie. I just don't know if that's realistic. And please, 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 for the love of God, if they do not make an announcement that you like let's say they make just a small announcement, or they don't make an announcement at all, do not blame Ufotable and Aniplex, okay? Blame yourself if you really think that way. Yes, I'm not even 3 minutes into recording this and I'm already calling people out. And blame the people that are just making these posts that say there will be an announcement, because they don't actually know. And based off of a lot of history of this, it's realistic to think that there might not be an announcement here, and that's okay. So let's talk about it. Now, just as a disclaimer, I also was not in the fandom until Entertainment District aired. So the process of promotional reels and everything that I experienced for the first time was before Swordsmith Village. So everything that led up to that, so all the promotion for Entertainment District and Mugen Train, I was not a part of the fandom during that time. So I had to kind of dig and look for things regarding how they promoted the show back then. And spoiler alert, it was exactly the same as they did for Swordsmith Village and Hashira training. If we're going to go based off of how they've done things, and they've done things the exact same way every single time, I would say don't expect information at Jump Festa. Let's get into the timeline. I have my phone open. I do have some information here. Now, I really had to dig for some of this stuff. It is hard to find when Kimetsu TV was on because a lot of it is geo-blocked in my area, especially in the earlier seasons before they started making it available to other countries. And also my Twitter account, for some reason, only allows me to go back 8 months. So I couldn't really find all of that. I had to kind of pick and choose. And believe it or not, I actually help run a fan account for Tanjiro's voice actor, Hanai Natsuki. And I went back 5 years in the videos and pieced together the fact that almost every single promotional reel came out at the same time as a Kimetsu TV. Now, for those of you who don't know what Kimetsu TV is aired on YouTube for the most part. And it's a 30-minute to an hour-long TV special where the voice actors attend. Tanjiro's voice actor is always in attendance, and then they kind of switch out who else attends it based off of the season that's coming up, who's going to be highlighted, all that kind of fun stuff. And these are when they make announcements. They will make announcements regarding the new season, they will make announcements regarding events that are happening, so on and so forth. So that's what Kimetsu TV is. There's no live audience. It is pre-recorded, I'm fairly certain. And it's just like kind of a talk show, but they make announcements throughout this little talk show. So if we go all the way back to 2019, on September 28, 2019, which is the day that season 1 ended, they had a Kimitsu TV, and in that they also showed that movie teaser that was just like a quick little 30-second, hey, Mugen Train is going to be a movie. But that was aired with Kimitsu TV. That aired like directly after the end of the episode. Then we fast forward a little bit. We're going to go to April 10, 2020. So on April 10, 2020 is when the main trailer for Mugen Train was released, where they stated that the movie was going to be coming out on October 16th, 2020. That's when it came out in Japan. Keep in mind that the movie did not come out until April 2021 outside of Japan. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that later on in this video, but this was announced again during Kimitsu TV, which was in the midst of COVID. Like, this was April 10, 2020. So this was like a month after lockdown started. And in Japan, it was especially like a big deal there. They still had Kimitsu TV. They just had the voice actors literally call in. Like, the voice actors were not present. They just like had their voices talking, which I guess makes sense because they're voice actors. They're used to that. But they literally still had Kimitsu TV to announce this trailer, even though it was right after COVID started. And this is when like the first main trailer came out, where it was announced that it would be coming out in October of that same year. So again, there's probably some other like small trailers that I couldn't find here and there. I don't know if those came out with Kimitsu TV, but all of the big announcements already for Mugen Train, which is a good North Star for us to use considering that was a movie, came out during Kimitsu TV. Now we're going to fast forward again. Oh, okay, so there was a third Mugen Train trailer that came out. I don't know the exact date of this. It's not telling me the date, but this was the third and final trailer that came out before Mugen Train came out, and this also was during Kimitsu TV. So as it's what I'm looking at right here is on the same day this fan account posted the Kimitsu TV as well as the trailer. And during the Kimitsu TV, they played the trailer for the first time. So all three trailers that I can find came out during Kimitsu TV for Mugen Train. So that's kind of just setting the tone for Kimitsu TV being the time that they announce things. Not Jump Festa, not any other events where they definitely could, but Kimitsu TV, because that's what they've always done. Now we're going to fast forward to when they made announcements for Entertainment District. So it looks like on May 6, 2021 was when they released the very first teaser trailer of Entertainment District. And that was during a shorter version of Kimitsu TV on Abema TV. So they still had like a shorter version of it, but they still had like the very specific Kimitsu TV for this first promotional teaser. Then if we fast forward to July 13th, 2021, once again, there was the second promotional reel for Entertainment District. In this promotional reel, they did announce that the Mugen Train movie was going to be getting a episodic release starting September 25th, 2021, and that the first episode will be a Rengoku anime original episode, and then they just released like a new visual and broadcast info. It doesn't look like they released the date of Entertainment District, but they did for the Mugen Train episodic release. That was on July 13th. Once again, you'll see a common theme. That was all during the Kimitsu TV event. It did not happen standalone. It did not happen in another event. It happened with the Kimitsu TV event. They also had Kimitsu TV on December 6th, which was after the first episode of Entertainment District. They didn't make any announcements because Entertainment District already began, but Kimitsu TV also can sometimes mean no announcements. They will literally like state, Kimitsu TV will be happening on this date. There will be a new announcement regarding the anime there. So that was all before Entertainment District. Now, for Swordsmith Village, I can go off of memory because I was a part of this. In October of 2022, which was about 6 months after the end of Entertainment District, it ended, well, I guess it ended in February, so that was about 8 months after the end. They had this like little anime event. Again, this wasn't a Demon Slayer related event. This was not Kimitsu TV. This was something else. And it was heavily promoted on Twitter by random accounts that there would be an announcement at this. There was not an announcement. They just announced at this event that there would be Kimitsu TV on December 10th, 2022, where they would be making an announcement regarding Swordsmith Village. Now, of course, that was on October 15th, 2022 that they made that announcement. In 2023, at the end of October, at the time of recording this, it is October 21st, 2024. So if we're going to get an announcement in December, personally, I think they'll be saying something on the official account soon. But in late October of 2023, the official Kimitsu Twitter account let us know that there was going to be a Kimitsu TV on December 10th, 2023, where new information regarding Hashira training was going to be released. Now, I bring this up for these because I wasn't able to go back on Twitter for like the entertainment district stuff. I don't know if the official Kimitsu account like announced that there was going to be Kimitsu TV where they would make an official announcement. I would assume so, considering the 2 years that I've been a part of the fandom, they have. They literally let us know ahead of time. They'll be like, there's going to be Kimitsu TV on this account, and during that Kimitsu TV, we will make an announcement regarding the next arc. Nothing like that has happened for Jump Festa. They have even announced the cast of voice actors that will be attending this Jump Festa stage. I believe it's Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu's voice actors who will be attending this, but they have not said we will reveal information regarding the Infinity Castle arc. They have tweeted, like the official Kimitsu account has tweeted that these voice actors will be in attendance, but they have not said there will be a new announcement regarding the anime. Again, I just want to throw in there, they could change it up this time around. It very well could be a new thing that they're doing, where they're going to make an announcement here in front of a live audience, because it is for this movie trilogy, which is a much bigger deal than Hashira Training was, or even Swordsmith Village was. But again, I would just say, based off of the timeline, and I went back all the way, every single announcement, every single trailer has been during Kimitsu TV. It is realistic to expect them to not change things up that much. This has worked for them. The anime is extremely popular. People go to the movie theaters to see the world tour. People turn it on every single week to watch it. They know that they're successful with their current advertisement model. There's no reason to change it outside of if they want to reach a wider audience this time around, which they might. As far as looking back as much as I can, I know for a fact the last 2 years there was no announcements outside of Kimitsu TV. Going back as far as before I was in the fandom, as far as I can see, there have been no announcements outside of Kimitsu TV. So it is unrealistic to go into this Jump Festa account with the high expectation that they will make an announcement. So please set up your expectations and say, you know what? I would rather be happily surprised that they made an announcement outside of I'm expecting it, and then if it doesn't happen, I'm going to angrily tweet Ufotable and Kimitsu's official account for not giving me an announcement. Remember that this is not Hollywood. This is Japan. They're always going to do things a little bit differently than what we do. All you need to do is just look back on what they've done in the past and expect that. If they, by the time I'm like posting this, editing Hannah will, I guess, throw in right here if they've made an announcement. Do I think that there's going to be a Kimitsu TV in December for the third year in a row? Possibly. I don't know. And it's also important to note, if they do just go ahead and announce Kimitsu TV in December, that's probably going to happen before Jump Festa. So we could still be looking at getting an announcement before Jump Festa, which Jump Festa is still 2 months away. So, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to this. But based off of what they've done in the past, and it's a good idea to make your expectations follow what they've done in the past because they've been very consistent with their marketing for this show, you can expect there to be an announcement during a Kimitsu TV event. And I'll let you know when they make that announcement because they always tweet it. They say there will be Kimitsu TV on this date. During this Kimitsu TV event, we will make an announcement regarding the anime. Now, is that going to happen in December? Let's talk about what I think the timeline is going to be from here on out. So we're kind of transitioning out of the what you should expect at Jump Festa and how they're going to announce things, and we're going to move into my predictions on just like the rest of this year as well as 2025, what this first movie, like when it's going to come out, that sort of thing. I'm just going to say this right now. I think people are being a little bit unrealistic because I'm seeing a lot of people think it's coming out in April of 2025. Would I be extremely happy if this happened? Yes, I will be in Japan for pretty much the entire month of April of 2025. I would love to go see this movie for the first time at a Japanese theater, even if it means no subtitles. I would love to just experience it in its home country with its home crowd watching, and just like, I feel like that would be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but I don't think that's going to happen because that's super unrealistic. So first I want to talk about how long each hiatus has been, and then I'll talk about kind of how Mugen Train went. And I will also say a side note, Mugen Train I think was a little bit different because it was during COVID, So I think there was some processes that just took a little bit longer because of like a lack of staffing and that sort of thing that maybe caused some delays. However, I don't know if there was really any delays involved outside of how long it took to come out here after it came out in Japan. Hey guys, Editing Hannah here. You don't get to see my face because Editing Hannah is not camera ready Hannah. But as I was editing this, I realized that I did not actually talk about what my thoughts are on how long the delay is going to be from when the first movie hits theaters in Japan to when it hits theaters outside of Japan. And I think it's going to be a lot shorter than Mugen Train. The first reason is because Sony and Crunchyroll already have the rights to the movie. Do I think that means it's going to be a simultaneous release worldwide? Not necessarily. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. I would be like super happy if that happened because leak culture is horrible and yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to get to watch it for the first time on my screen without seeing like really bad quality videos on Twitter that I can't scroll past because they don't put spoiler warnings. Anyway, I don't think it's going to be simultaneous, but we already have the rights. If I know correctly, and I might not be super correct on this because I'm not actually involved in the backgrounds of any of this stuff, but as far as I know, what causes delays for movies in certain countries to hit theaters in other countries is not necessarily because of like dubbing or getting subtitles. It's more because of earning the rights, because different companies from those countries have to earn the rights and it goes through like a lot of paperwork. Since Sony and Crunchyroll already have that done, I don't see there being a super long delay. Another reason I don't think there's going to be a long delay is anime movies and Demon Slayer in general is just more popular now than it was when Mugen Train came out. So I think they're just a lot faster to get this out. I think there's been some other anime movies recently that have only had like a month to 2 month delay, while some movies still have like 10-month delays. It kind of depends on what it is. But Demon Slayer is so well known. And of course, Mugen Train was so incredibly successful. I don't think there's going to be that long of a delay. Another reason why I don't think there's going to be that long of a delay is because it's not in the middle of COVID. Like, that's a big deal, too. COVID is still a thing, but the world's not in a pandemic anymore, and therefore I think it'll just be faster. And then finally, my final thought was the fact that we've had these world tours. I think year one, there was a 1-month delay for us here in America, and then the second year, there was like a 3-week delay. So even though those were like a little bit easier because it wasn't like a full-on movie, it was a theatrical release special, I still think they've built up the relationship with these theaters and it's just going to make everything go really quick. So that's my thought process on that. I don't think we're going to be waiting a super long time, if at all, once this movie hits theaters in Japan. I think the wait will be either short or non-existent. So we'll see. But that's it. That's Editing Hannah for you. So it's kind of hard, but Mugen Train's going to probably be the best one to still use because that was a movie instead of a season like everything else has been. But for reference, there has always been 13 to 14 months in between the end of a season and the start of a new one, except for Hashira Training. But I think Hashira Training, personally, that one is an anomaly because it was shorter. It was only 8 episodes. And I think the time, money, and resources they used on Hashira Training was probably a little bit less than a lot of the others because it was a training arc. Like, obviously, that last episode was very, very crazy and intense and, like, the best one to date with amazing animation. But the episodes leading up to it, I don't think required quite as much work and quite as much time and resources because they did have some, like, big fight scenes here and there, but they lasted much shorter than, like, a regular battle season would be. So that one was a little bit different, so I'm just going to put that disclaimer. That's why I think the hiatus in between Swordsmith Village and Hashira Training was shorter. The rest were 13 to 14 months. So, for reference, Season 1 ended on September 28, 2019. And then the movie came out in October 16th of 2020. So that is a 13-month hiatus. Then, for Entertainment District, so obviously Mugen Train started at the end of September, but I don't really count that because that was just a episodic release of the movie that was already out. I'm going to count Entertainment District, which came out on December 5th of 2021. That is a 14-month hiatus. Because remember, Mugen Train came out October 16th. Entertainment District came out December 5th of the next year. That is a 14-month hiatus. Entertainment District ended in February of 2022, and Swordsmith Village started in April of 2023. Once again, a roughly 14-month hiatus. Hashira Training is the only one, like I said, that's a little bit different, where Swordsmith Village ended mid-June of 2023, and Hashira Training began in May of 2024, meaning it only had an 11-month hiatus. But once again, like I said, I think that one's just an anomaly. I don't expect Infinity Castle to follow that, because Hashira Training and Infinity Castle are about as opposites as you can get. Hashira Training is probably the season they spent the least amount of time, resources, and money on. Infinity Castle, on the other hand, I think is going to see like a huge change in the marketing and the promotional reels, because it's a movie, so it's going to be a little bit different than even how they did it for Swordsmith Village and Entertainment District. But, again, I still think those are going to happen during Kimetsu TV, like I talked about in the first part. So, if we do the math, Hashira Training ended on June 30th. If you want to be very, very technical, it actually ended on July 1st because the episode ended after midnight on July 1st in Japan. So for that reason, I'm actually going to say that it ended in July of 2024. Meaning, if we get a 13-month hiatus, that would be August of next year. But if we get a 14-month hiatus, that would not be until September of 2025, okay? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think it is more likely that we can expect a fall release of this first movie than a spring release. Because in what world does it make sense that the first Infinity Castle movie, which we want them to take their time on, by the way, we want them to take as much time, resources, and money to make sure that this Infinity Castle movie, along with the other two, are spectacular because they know what they have here. They know that Infinity Castle is most manga readers' favorite arc. It is the beginning of the climax of the story. It is very, 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 very important that they do not mess this up. And they know that, all right? It is not realistic for them to release it in April because that's like a 9-month hiatus. That is so short for the most important part of the story to date. So don't expect April 2025. Don't expect May of 2025. I also saw quite a few Japanese people state that May is not a good time because Detective Conan, which is a super popular anime over there, releases a movie every single year in May. So Aniplex and Ufotable, they probably don't want to have to try to compete against Detective Conan because that's a super popular show. Like it's been around for a long time. It's like everyone watches it because they grew up on it and they just still watch it. As far as I know, that's what I've gathered from them. And then June, July, August is just a low month, like a low season for movie theaters in general, because Japan's summers are very hot and humid, and because of the way their like society works, a ton of people do not own cars. They do have to walk places. They have to use public transport. And so a lot of people, their hobbies during the summer are like indoors or at the beach or something, and they don't go to the movie theaters as often. So it could be a death nail for Infinity Castle to come out during the summertime when certain people who are not like hardcore fans of Demon Slayer are not going to want to go. It is unrealistic for them to release it during the hot summer months. That's why I think September is probably going to be our best bet. That's what I'm kind of locking in on as far as a release date. If it comes out earlier than that, I will be very, very surprised and happy by that, but I'm just setting myself up with realistic expectations that it'll come out during that time. Because honestly, all the signs point to that just based off of the hiatus stuff. Now, finally, are we going to get new information in December at all? Personally, I think possibly. I want y'all to consider the fact that what if there is another world tour? Now you might be thinking, like, there's obviously not going to be a world tour because we're getting a movie this year. It'd be weird for them to, like, release something in the theater earlier. But consider this. Watching the Hashira Training season finale in movie theaters. Sign me up. Okay, honestly, this is more of a selfish request, but I could definitely see, especially if the movie's not coming out until September, I could see them filling some time this year and giving us a world tour in the early spring like they've done the last 2 years. And if that's the case, I think we absolutely will get some new information in December, obviously, because it's usually only 2 months before the world tour starts. And the reason behind this is because I think it'll help with marketing, at least in Japan. Now, I know that if there is a world tour, that it's going to get a ton of backlash in America, for sure. The last two have already gotten backlash. this year, if there is one, it's gonna get so much backlash that it's gonna be like, I'm gonna have to go off social media for a while before I like actually blow up on people, because I know that people don't research this stuff, but people do already know that Infinity Castle is going to be a movie trilogy, so they're gonna see that there's a Demon Slayer movie, and they're gonna automatically assume that it's the Infinity Castle movie, and then they're gonna go, and it's gonna be, like, mostly recap, they're gonna be upset, blah, blah, blah. However, do I think Ufotable Aniplex is paying attention to what people are saying in America a lot? No. I don't think they're really looking at it at all, and I hope they continue to not look at it, because people are extremely, extremely rude here, and it's been really annoying the last few years, and it's going to be extra annoying if it happens next year, but I could also see it not happening. I'm just throwing it out into the wild that, just imagine like episode 7 and 8 of Hashira Training and the first like 25 to 30 minutes of the Infinity Castle movie as like an early release as a world tour. I absolutely could see that happening, honestly. I would not be surprised if it does happen. I would not be surprised if it doesn't happen and they just hold off until the first movie comes out, especially if it randomly decides to come out in the spring, which I still think is super unrealistic. That is like my only reasoning for thinking we still might get information in December, is if we get a world tour, or if they're gonna just give us more trailers than usual, which I think they will. So we could get information at Jump Festa. Like, they really could just change things up and give it to us. I'm just saying, go into Jump Festa with a hope that it could happen, but also don't go in with the expectation that it will happen. And if you do that, hold yourself accountable. If you watch the Jump Fest stage, no announcement has been made, and you're sad, do not angrily tweet Ufotable, Kimitsu, or Aniplex about how horrible they are, and that they don't care about Demon Slayer anymore, and that you think that the Infinity Castle arcs are going to be handled poorly, and that everything is wrong, everything is bad. I wish that I could just leave the fandom. Like, and that sounds dramatic. That's what happened last year. So anyway, I think that's it for today's video. I just kind of wanted to talk through that and set everyone's expectations up a little bit differently. If they don't make an announcement anytime soon in October, I think just go into Jump Festa with, you know, the idea that it could happen or that it doesn't happen. If they have not said on the Kimitsu account that there's going to be an announcement there, go in with low expectations, truly. They might make, like, small announcements. They might talk about, like, Kimitsu Fest, which I'm going to be paying attention to because I will be in Japan in April. It has happened in April before, so I'm hoping that they'll make an announcement of when Kimitsu Fest will be soon so I can plan around that. But otherwise, just wait for them to say, oh, Kimitsu TV is happening, and there will be an announcement made, because that's what they've literally always done based off of my research, and there's always the chance they could change it, but your expectation should be that they won't. So if you have friends that maybe think that Jump Festa is going to have an announcement, show this video to them. Show the research that I did, and share this with anyone who thinks that this is going to be a thing, because I think that it is okay to hope, but not okay to expect. Anyway, if you liked this video, again, please like this video, leave a comment what you think. You can predict when you think the Infinity Castle first movie is gonna come out, and all that fun stuff, your thoughts on this video, and also share it with your friends. Share it with anyone you think needs to know this information, because I think this information needs to be spread around the country and around the world so that people stop freaking being obnoxious on the internet, which is never going to happen, but whatever. Also subscribe to my channel. I make posts about Demon Slayer pretty often. I'm also reacting to Dandadan if you want to see that. And with that, I will say, mata ne!